So there it was, the King's Speech. And to be honest, I am quite satisfied with a lot of stuff that was in there. Really, really satisfied. And we'll see in the coming days what some of the more details are going to be of some of these big plans that Labour has. And it was worth reinforcing that after that, Starmer did say that there was going to be no quick fixing, that this wasn't going to be, something that could be fixed overnight. And I think that was something well worth reinforcing to people, that there are going to be no quick fixes from this. This isn't something you can just click your fingers, job done. Everything's all sorted again. It's not going to be, that easy to sort of fix some of these problems, to get some of this stuff done. But no, I think there's a lot of stuff that was really good in the King's Speech. I really, really do. Quite frankly, anyone who still thinks that, you can call these people the Red Tories, especially after some of the workers' rights stuff that got announced, and the fact that this morning in particular, when I'm doing this this morning, the Daily Mail is absolutely freaking out over these advancements of workers' rights, saying how are businesses going to function now that all the workers suddenly have more power? Oh no. Yeah. But there you go. But no, lots of stuff I think sort of coming from this. I think this really definitely does set a tone about how Labour is going to handle things. There's a couple of things in particular I want to go over. But they mentioned about the mental health. I think that is very good. One thing I've always said, when you get the new government, which we do have now, there's going to be a fundamental change in how they do and how they approach things. And I think we've already seen that in many of these cases. And once again, we are seeing that again, that you've got a government that is approaching these things not from this very ideological sort of point of view. And, they are appointing things from a good, sensible, practical standpoint, and doing and saying things that a lot of people have been saying for quite a while on many of these issues. So I'm really, really happy with a lot of the King's Speech. Of course, not everything I would like to hear, but as always with the government, you don't get everything you want. But hey, I think if this is like the first King's Speech we get, this is what like their first sort of lot of legislative agenda that they want to sort of set out and get done. Hey, so far so good. Yes, I know we're streeting. Yeah, I know. But there's a lot of other good stuff I think going on. And as I said, you never end up agreeing 100% with every government. So to be honest, I'm glad they're in. I know there are a lot of sort of people already mobilizing to sort of fight against sort of what West Streetings is and sort of what that happened. Rachel and Graham had a really good stream yesterday. Well, the day before. Hang on. Yes, the day before. We just try to remember when it was. So yes, the day before of when that happened. So yeah, go check that out. It's very, very good. But as always, let's crack on and talk about some of the stuff that was in the King's Speech, or at least some of the highlights, shall we say, of what was in the King's Speech. But before we do that, please do remember to click on the like, the share button, and of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, the One Off Nation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there is the Pony Club down below as well. So let's crack on then, shall we, with this. So one of the big things, first of all, crime. Crime is, if you go and talk to a lot of local people, they are really, really concerned about crime, especially when it comes to local stuff. They want to see, more quote bobbies on the beat is very often the phrase, or at least the conclusion many people sort of want to come to. And one of the things you saw on this was at least put forward was the idea of, well, not the idea, but the purpose of strengthening community policing. And I think that is something absolutely that does need to be done. I think police really need to get more involved with their communities, be seen, be active. So what exactly that will entail and what this will mean by strengthening, like I say, we'll see in the next couple of days, or at least next couple of weeks as these bills sort of come forward with more detail. That will be really good. And then, of course, we heard about giving police more powers to deal with antisocial behavior, which again, if you talk to people, antisocial behavior top of their list next to burglary and things like that. And I think strengthening community policing, have greater powers to deal with antisocial behavior. I think that will be a really good direction on some of the other things. So I think that is a really good idea. Of course, we've got to see the detail, of course, in a number of the things. But transport, two things. Very, very good to see, by the way. Once again, bus services to be run locally. This has already been happening with the Labour regional mayors. I can guarantee you, Ben Houchen not going to do that. Like, why? Because Ben Houchen is obsessed with his Freeport. Oh my God, the Freeport will be amazing once it's done. Don't worry, guys. It's going to be amazing. We'll see now, of course, Ben Houchen surrounded by Labour MPs. And of course, basically saying, hey, we're going to send in, the National Audit Office. That's what I really, really want to see. I think, the people who are sort of like me, sort of anti that Freeport, really need to get and start pushing their Labour MPs, start writing, saying, hey, you need to sort of look at this, get that done. Definitely something that should be done. Like I say, I'm going to be writing my first letter to Dan Jarvis soon. So don't worry, I will be putting that in myself. So yeah, I think that's really good. Bus services to be brought in, run locally. Fantastic. It's what we've been seeing happening, like I say, with the Labour regional mayors, and I think sort of cementing that in, nationally. I think that will be a very, very good thing to see. The rail operators, well, we know partially what the plan has been now, just to let the contracts end and for them to sort of fall back into public ownership. I think by the end of Labour's first term, I pretty much think it is all bar like one or two contracts, which I think would be left under private ownership. But even then, that wouldn't be too much longer, like another year or two before they would be again eventually sort of fall back into private ownership. I think a big fact for me, from what I want, you go to see a big improvement of the rails is what is Labour going to do? Now you've got public ownership. What are you going to do? I, for one, would love to see a the rail card, for example. If you go up till about, well, I think it's 30 now, they've extended it to, and then you get one again when you're 60, or if you're a couple, you can have one. Just give us a rail card. Just do away with the age or people requirement. Just give everyone a rail card, because I tell you what, 25% off on rail travel is amazing. I always remember, and I will always say, when I was a student and I lost, when I slipped out of that age bracket, I did the whole thing of, the day before my birthday, going in, renewing my rail card for as long as I possibly could. So I had it until I think I was 20, just 20, 28, I think it was, when it finally ran out. And I remember what it was like after that. You really, really do notice the difference when you don't have that 25% off. It is honestly a big discount. It is something that I think should be done. I think should be, has very, very long been a push by passenger groups to push to have that that sort of rail card that sort of covers it all. Definitely what I would like to see, but again, I would like to see more stuff about what they are going to do now they're in public ownership. What do you actually intend to do? This is what I've been saying when we had the conversation with the guy who was like, pro nationalization. Okay, we get it, we've nationalized it. What do we do? Those are some definitely, absolutely certain parts I'd love to see on that. Going over to education, we did hear, of course, the ending of the VAT exemption for private schools. That I think is going to be a good thing, because that money is then going to be used to be put into other education. So we'll see what happens there, and sort of what Labour's further plans for education are going with. When it comes to the NHS, of course, massive talk about reducing the waiting times. Well, okay, what exactly are you going to do with the waiting times? I think it's going to feed into sort of, as we've heard Wes Streeting say, I know. sort of say engaging sort of with private firms to help reduce the waiting times, use their capacity that they have to sort of help reduce those, get people sort of seen quicker. I think that is a very good idea to sort of use. So we'll see what the full plans of those are and how they intend to do that. But the other thing, of course, was, and this is where I said at the beginning about mental health. They're going to give now mental health the same, or at least recognition, or what should be the same attention as physical health. That, I think, will be really, really, really good. We have seen over the past couple of years really an increased pressure on people saying, hey, actually, we need to start focusing a lot more on people's mental health, not just their physical health. I think that will be an amazing transformation to see. We'll see, how they intend to do that, what they intend to sort of transform it like, how, what they're going to do with that. Like I say, obviously, King's Speech is going to be very light on detail, but we'll probably see in the next sort of couple of days, weeks, months, etc., what that actually entails. But them saying that, I think, very, very good direction for a lot of future things. Housing, or should we say renting? Definitely renting, one of the big things. Ending no-fault evictions. No-fault evictions, if you look at what Shelter have said and other sort of homeless charities, no-fault evictions are the biggest cause of homelessness in the UK. So ending that, I think, is an amazing step forward. I'd also like to see Labour take on leasehold. We saw a big sort of challenge to that during the end of the the Conservatives' time. Of course, they didn't do anything about it. They just let it lapse. I think Labour should really be picking that back up and sort of going to end leasehold as well. But again, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe this can be something in another year. But I want to bear in mind everything we've had here. These are a lot. This is a big legislative agenda. Bear in mind, the last Parliament we had, the last lot we had in, they got nothing done. I want to stress that. They got nothing done at all legislatively. There was almost next to nothing, you know, they were doing. MPs were sort of complaining that there wasn't enough work for them to do. This will keep MPs busy for quite some time. And I think that is a good thing. I think you're really, really going to see Labour really sort of saying, these are things we want to do. Let's, get these passed. Let's crack on and let's get this stuff done. That again, fundamental change in attitude as well with a new government. So really happy about that as well. Workers' rights, if not one of the biggest expansion of workers' rights we have seen in recent times. I think that is incredible. The Daily Mail, like I say this morning, absolutely freaking out about the fact that workers were now going to have all these power, that they're going to scrap the anti-strike bill. Stuff like that. All this stuff that we've been talking about, going to be very, very, very good. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy, of course, the Daily Mail's upset. Certainly trying to make Angela Rayner a target. Massively so. I think we can maybe we should just start a count of every single time like Angela Rayner makes the Daily Mail front page. I don't know. Maybe she should be trying to like copyright her image. Make the Daily Mail pay. But hey, who knows on that one? But anyway, those are just some of the things that I sort of picked out from the King's Speech. I think stuff that sort of were really sort of good in there. But there was a lot of stuff in the King's Speech. We'll be, like I say, no doubt be seeing more of the bills and stuff going to Parliament over the next sort of weeks and months, and other stuff as well as more of the bills come out. What's going to go in there? So a lot of work to be done. Labour said they were going to hit the ground running, and oh boy, they are really, really hitting the ground running on this so far. So really pleased so far. Again, of course, not everything, I want, like I say, would have loved to have seen HS2 in there. Absolutely love to have seen HS2 in there. I think that is a conversation that does need to happen within Labour, but we'll see. So As always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.